Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today is a day that we lost a leader, a singer, a drummer, a beloved son, my son. And I think I came on here more or less as a distraction, but also to help myself and my kids, because today is a hard day for us, as it is for anybody that loses somebody, but especially when you lose a child, it's particularly harder because nobody has the right to take a child away from a mother. Nobody. I don't care how they try to justify it. I don't care what they have to say. There's nothing ever that you could tell me that would make it okay to ever take a child's life. And that's all I'm going to really say about that. And I always tell you guys I hate this saying. If you know, you know. But right now, I don't want to talk about it, about everything that happened. But there'll probably be sleuths out there that, it's nothing I'm hiding. It's just something that I emotionally am not ready to scream out to the world, because it's felt like I've had to be muzzled for so long. I mean, obviously I talk to immediate people in my life, but as far as I'm starting to get choked up, as far as saying it out loud to perfect strangers, but don't get me wrong, I mean, I've had to talk in front of hundreds of people, about really hard things. I've had to go on TV and speak about this. Did I want to particularly? No. Did I feel like I had to? Yeah. But did I ever want to? No. I mean, I can't even walk into my own Walmart without eyes all on me. Who wants that feeling? Not me. That's not who I am. So where do I go? I go to the Walmart in a whole nother state and a whole nother town. And that's not fair, because I did nothing wrong. It was this man that I don't even know. But you know what? He has to deal with that. And this is the first time I've ever spoke on him. He has to deal with that. He has to deal with taking an innocent child's life, and he can justify it however he wants in his mind. But you know what? He has to deal with his maker. And he will. And I'm in a part of my healing where I feel like I can say that much. And everyone says, Holly, you're so strong. During that time, you got to understand, if you don't know me, that I lost my mom in 2016. And I started to wake up around that time. And thank God for that, because when I lost my mom, my heart shattered. My heart completely shattered. And if I wasn't awake during that time, I mean, for instance, a year later, I lost my son. And if I hadn't been awake, I would have probably fed into a lot of the shit, and believed and believed a lot of people that were only trying to be close to me for money. And not only that, but it's like my eyes, even though I couldn't see, it was like my eyes were telling me, Holly, you can't see, but the propaganda. It's propaganda. And the paper and the news, they're very good at that. And so my whole mind went in a whole nother perspective, because I knew what happened. Other people knew what happened. People had seen what happened, but in the paper and in the news, they fed you a completely another story that was completely untrue. And experts were looking at it and they were saying, this is wrong. People were saying this is wrong. And you know what? It was fucking wrong. Mind my language. But this isn't about that. This is about him and who he was. And he was a leader. And he was funny. He would crack you up, man. He was a clown. He was a lot like me in that. When you're down, he'll bring you up. If he seen someone crying, he would cheer you up. He'd crack jokes. He was always my go-to to what's cool, you know. I didn't know what roasting meant. I'm like, what do you mean? What is it to roast somebody? Like, and he's like, Mom. And he would have to explain it to me, right? So they used to call him the meme king. I didn't even know what a meme was. Like, explain that to a blind person. I didn't know what the heck a meme was, but he was the meme king. He was super good at it. You know, all my kids are very talented, and I'm not just saying that because they're my kids. I mean, if they were F-ups, then that's what they would be, but they're truly not. I have really great kids, and I'm blessed in that way. And you know what? He was a leader. He made stuff cool, right? So, mind you, he passed away when he was 14 years old. He only got to be 14 for 2 months, okay? He was born September 13th, 2003, and I was 18 years old, okay? And so on his 13th birthday, it was the first time I ever gave him a $100 bill. I gave him $100 cash, and that was big to him. And you know what he did? He didn't go to the store and go buy junk. He didn't go buy a new game he probably wanted. My boy negotiated a price on a fully beaded medallion, and he knocked the price down to where he was able to purchase it with the birthday money that I gave him. And you know what? He wore it to school, and he rocked that shit. I mean, he rocked it, and he made it cool. He didn't care what anybody thought. And you know what? Everyone looked up to him. He was gentle, he was funny, he was kind, he never hurt anybody. But would he stand up for you in a heartbeat? Hell yeah, because that's how he was raised. I'm loyal to a fault, to where sometimes I'm too loyal, you know? And I pass that down to my kids. I mean, we all have to learn, right? But he was a great boy, and I'm proud of the young man that he became, and he would have done great things. He was a singer on his drum group, which when he passed away, it was pretty sad. There was an empty chair, and they put a rose there with his picture, and you know, all the teachers and the students came to his funeral. I mean, it was huge. You know, and there's cameras everywhere, and it's just like, oh, too much, you know. And my lawyer once told me, Holly, you need to get a hold of this director and do a film. That's not me. And maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe one day, I don't know, but that's not me. That's not who I am. I'm not a show pony. I don't like the spotlight. You know how much it takes me to do this YouTube channel? I mean, I'm a talker. I can talk to you all day. But to get on camera and to do that is a lot, you know? And my daughter talked me into it. And she said, you know, I like to take you out of your comfort zone, Mom, and get you to do things that you wouldn't typically do. And you watch these people on YouTube, Mom, and you could do it. You could do that. And I thought about it, cried for like 6-7 months. And I kept telling her, no, Lyrical Jazzy, no, that's not for me, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I said, you know what? If you want to learn your editing, you want to get better, all right. But once it stops being fun, we're done. I don't care how many subs. I don't care what we're doing. Your happiness is what means more. So as long as she's learning and she likes it, then we're going to keep going. I'm sorry, I'm getting all choked up, but how can you not when you're talking about your kid and it happens to be on this day and it wasn't, you know, he didn't pass away because he was sick or anything like that. You know, it was because the hands of somebody else. And you know, I had a good boy. He was a good boy. You know, at Lyrical Jazzy's 4th birthday party, he came up and he was riding his 4-wheeler. He came up to the house and we're all sitting around and, you know, cooking out and eating watermelon, and all the aunties were in the kitchen cutting up vegetables. And, you know, my uncle Mike was sitting there and he was talking, man, I love leeks. You got any leeks? Nah, Uncle, I ain't got no leeks, you know. And here Jason hears that. He leaves, Ma, I'll be right back. Well, where are you going? I'll be right back, Ma. All right, then. So he takes off on his 4-wheeler. He comes back 20 minutes later. Boom, wild leeks. And if you don't know what that's like, wild onions. He came back with a bunch of wild leeks. They cleaned that up, and my Uncle Mike got his leeks. He was so shocked and surprised. But before he brought those to my Uncle Mike, guess what? He stopped off at the elderly building and dropped some off there. That's who my boy was. He was giving, he was loving, he was helpful, he was funny. And he's more than what you read in the papers. All lies and bullshit. And if you know, you know. And I just want to say thank you for listening. And I love all of you for subscribing and taking the time out of your day to listen to me. And so next I'm going to show you the cradle board in which my father made for me. Now, why it's extremely hard for me is like, I am an orphan. I lost both my parents. I was an orphan in my early 30s. So in 2016, I lost my mother, like I told you. And the next year, I lost my son, 2017. And 6 months later, in 2018, my father was taken from me. And he was the patriarch of our family. And I was a complete daddy's girl. And so my world just was flipped upside down in one instant. And, you know, it's taken a lot of counseling and grieving counseling to deal, because that was severely traumatic to me. And I'm going to be real honest. If I didn't have my children, my physical feet wouldn't be planted here on this ground. It was because of my children that I'm still here. Because after my son, I would rather have shriveled up into a little ball, rolled in the room, closed the door, and rolled under the rock and stayed there. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't, and I didn't allow myself. Did I want to? Hell yeah, I wanted to. Could I? Absolutely not. Why? Because I had a 3-month-old when my son died, and I had to get up, and I had to feed him, and I had to change him, and I had to take care of Lyrical Jazzy, and she was only 4, you know. And so I had to do what I had to do. And I was helped taking care of my father. So, you know, you never know what people go through. And I know other people have it way harder than me. And that's not even the full extent of my life. But that's why when you don't know someone, just be kind. Be kind, because you don't know their past. You don't know what they've been through. You know, my teenage years were kind of muffed up. And that's because I did that. I ran away. I did that. You know, I know that. But that didn't stop me from being a great mother. Great mother to 3 beautiful children. And baby Jay was the only one I was ever able to see. I had him when I was 18, and when I was 19 and a half, I went blind. So I don't even know what Lyrical Jazzy looks like. Everyone says she's gorgeous, she's beautiful. I don't know what my son Nico looks like. They say he looks just like baby Jay. So that's what I picture in my mind anyways. But thanks for listening, guys. And check out the cradle board my dad made. It's pretty neat. So this was baby Jay's cradle board. In my culture, we call it a dickanoggin, which means cradle board. And my father made this for me after I had my baby. This was gifted to me from him. He made it with his own 2 hands. He made the molds that bent the wood. That bent the wood here. So you see how this is all bent? He made the molds and had the wood all wet and put them in the molds in order for them to bend like that. He did the wood burning. My dad and a lot of people in our family are talented artists. Just like Lyrical Jazzy, it was gifted down to her. And my dad could paint, he could draw, multi-talented man. And so the baby's feet will go down here, in here, and you would put them in a Pendleton blanket. It's just a native blanket. You'd put them in there, which I also have a baby Jay's, but it's put away. And then I also have 2 super long leather straps that would crisscross after you put the baby in their head right here. And then you put the baby in there and you crisscross leather strap it around in here to hold the baby. Now this is to prevent the baby from hurting its head. And so this was made by my father. This is something you just can't go buy, right? this has to be made. This is something that is super, super dear to me. All my children have been in it, and I will pass it down to my nieces or whoever has, you know, a baby next in my immediate family. And so I will turn it around. So here's a side angle, and then I'll turn it sideways so you can kind of get a visual of what this looks like, the cradle board. And the children actually sleep very well in it. And then I'll turn it in the back so you can see how. So this is really hard. It's knotted and it's super, super hard. When it's wet, I forget what it's called. Oh my God, sound really dumb. It's right at the tip of my tongue. I'm having a brain fart. But when it's wet, it's really pliable. And then as it dries, it shrinks and gets super hard. And so that's what's used to have these boards tied together and be very, very strong. So I wanted to show you guys that. It's something that is part of my life that means a lot to me. Don't forget to click the thingamajiggies and click the doodads and, well, you know, do the damn thing. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace out. Till next time.